Hello everyone, it's Emma and welcome back to my channel. Let's talk about where I see the environmental movement going in the next 4 years. Because of, you know what this is because of. And if you don't know what this is because of, you can check out this video that I literally just got done filming. It is inspiring this video. It's going to be a combination of what I'm going to be doing with my own activism in the next few years, what I think other environmentalists should be doing, and also just like the reality of the environmental movement in the next 4 years. But I think this is going to be an important conversation for us to have now and not in January or not when the first policies get passed. You want to hear my full thoughts on the outcome of the election? You can check out, again, that video that I just referenced. But in short, this is scary times for environmentalists and many other groups of people. But that was my first thought upon waking up on Wednesday after the election was, there go our chances for the environment. Not that they were good. Kamala Harris was to get elected. I don't think she was going to be the savior of the planet, but I do think we had a better chance under her than we do under Trump. And this is something I would have liked to see the environmental movement do sooner. And there have been voices, right? Alex Harris is one. I'm blanking on her name, but here's her account. They have been very strong in their environmental activism in the last few years. Garbage Queen is another one. I've tried to do activism here on my page. I have done how to write effective letters to your congressmen and senators, how to find your congressmen and senators, the importance of voting, and these videos perform terribly. So I see why environmentalists do not talk about this stuff, especially when this becomes your livelihood. Fortunately, you do kind of have to focus on views. I'm not saying I make my videos solely based on views, but I have made this my mission since day one is to talk about the stuff that people are not usually talking about in the environmental spaces, even if they're not sexy, even if they don't really get good views, because they're important and they need to be talked about. And I hope that that becomes the shift for the entire environmental movement for all eco creators. Am I going to stop 100% talking about reusable water bottles and period underwear and bamboo toilet paper? No, that stuff has its place and that stuff is important, especially as I think a lot of us start to divest from billionaires, quit giving money to corporations because they don't care about you and they're teaming up with the MAGA party. It is still important to shop for small businesses. It is still important to quit giving up your wasteful practices and opt for more eco-friendly ones. It is still important to conserve energy and water and quit driving your car as much as possible. But I think we're really going to start to see how, unless every single person under the sun does that, as the climate clock ticks with an administration that thinks climate change is a hoax, I don't think that should be our main focus. I don't want to discount that. I think this stuff still has its place and it's still going to be important. Individual actions do matter because, again, if everybody does all of a sudden start using a reusable water bottle, that's huge. That's going to make a big difference. But that's not going to become a thing with a party that does not believe in climate change or waste. They love to overconsume. They love to shop. They love to support billionaires. I think our main focus really is going to be on amplifying voices, signing petitions, voting, getting people registered to vote, getting people out to vote, educating ourselves, educating others, building community, joining already existing organizations, mutual aid, donating. Like, there are so many things that we can do. We just kind of need to do them. These things already exist. It's been very interesting to be part of the environmental movement, especially like the zero waste part of the environmental movement for the last several years, because when I first started going zero waste, it was under Trump's first administration. It was in 2017, 2018. The action was really focused on the individual. It was use your reusable water bottle, get a trash jar, bulk shop, eat organic, go vegan. And then in 2020, this was more of a cause of the pandemic, I think, than with the election. There was a huge shift to corporate action, to government action. But I think over the last 4 years, we've kind of fallen a little bit back. I think there's a good mix right now of, yeah, your reusable water bottle matters. Maybe we should like take down Amazon or something. I think we've had a good mix of that over the last 4 years, but I do think we went from individual action like to major corporate action in 2020, a little bit of 2021. And we've kind of gone to this medium. I think we really are going to have to have, and there will be another push for government and corporate action. But this is where it gets hard. I think that this switch was going to happen either way because, as I said, Kamala Harris was not going to save the planet. I think it would have been easier under her administration, under a left-leaning administration. But I think this is where our issue is going to be, is we are going to have this shift, but with a government who thinks that climate change is a hoax. That's what worries me. But there's much to be done at state levels, city levels, organization levels, corporate levels, and there are also legal actions to take against said administration to stop these horrible things that they're doing for the planet. I've seen a lot from Earth Justice over the last few days. Definitely go follow them on other socials about how they had several different lawsuits against the Trump administration in his first term. They were able to block a lot of his negative climate impacts. I think with the growth of environmental activism on platforms like TikTok especially, we will be able to stop a lot more this time around. We had stopped a lot under the Biden administration. Again, this is also not to say that like Biden has done a good job, Kamala would have done a good job at fighting for the climate. Biden wanted to pass pass the Willow Project. Biden wanted to do a lot of drilling. There's work to be done under any administration. In my time as an environmentalist, we've had both a Republican, the same guy, and a Democratic president, and we were able to stop things under both administrations. So I think that is something to be hopeful for and something to focus on, is that yes, it's going to be hard to make government action under this current state of our government. It's still possible. And this is kind of my call to action for other influencers. There are some big influencers out there I have never ever seen post anything political. Again, now that this is my full-time job, I can sympathize with them a little bit because I have lost followers over the last few days. You will lose followers if you talk about politics. These videos do not get a lot of views. So I get it. I've also not even seen these creators talk a lot about social action, about petitions, or even boycotting wasteful companies. Like, again, these topics aren't sexy. They're not going to get you hundreds of thousands of views and therefore a lot of money. It's always been important, and it is of utmost importance now. And I would love to see more content creators, gosh, at least sharing stuff to their stories, at least sharing petitions to their stories. Doing something like I did on Instagram and creating this little activist channel where I will be sharing petitions to sign, letters to write, upcoming voting information for all states. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. Please don't take it as that. I'm just using these as examples of what they can do too, even if they keep everything else the same, but they share the occasional voting information to their audience. If they share the occasional petition to their audience, that will matter, especially because they have significantly more followers than I do. They have the reach, and I think they have the responsibility to use it, especially for something that they care so passionately about, like the planet. I'm editing. Just a little edit to add. I'm not asking anybody to like fully dive into politics, but I think it would be really cool to see more influencers, especially with larger audiences than me, simply sharing petitions, sharing resources, sharing mutual aid. Very, very small asks. I myself, I'm not really going to be diving into politics, and I'm not asking anybody to become a professional on politics themselves, but everything we do is political. Everything we buy, everything we read, everything we consume in the media, it's all political. Therefore, we will all be being affected. To just share some stuff that can really bring about a lot of action. Anyway, just wanted to clarify that. I'm not demanding anybody really dive into politics. But anyway, back to the programming. I said this in that video that I already referenced. I'm not an organizer. I have never seen myself as an organizer, but I do see myself as a participant in activism. And especially now that I have a following, as an amplifier of these voices. You don't have to create petitions. You don't have to create mutual aid organizations. You can share stuff that already exists. And I would love to see more creators doing that, making engaging content about activism, about helping people out, about saving the planet, and not just try these new reusable things. Try this new eco-cleaning brand. Now, I'm not gonna even switch my whole platform to being 100% political. I am still going to be sharing about like, hey, here are some eco swaps that you can take in the new year to live zero waste in 2025. Or here's some tips for an eco-friendly Christmas. Here's the gift guide. Like, I'm gonna have my regularly scheduled programming, but I am gonna have videos like this sprinkled in. I don't really know how I'm going to be doing that on YouTube quite yet. I'm still brainstorming, but on Instagram, again, I have that channel now for sharing activism, for sharing about politics, for sharing about current events. I'm going to be using my stories as such. I'm going to be making short form videos about petitions that are coming up, not only to get me involved and get me educated, but also to spread the word. And I would love to see other creators doing that, especially bigger creators with bigger following, bigger reach. Some creators I follow that are already doing amazing things in activism are Alex Harris. We got Elise Joshi. Oh my gosh, I love her content. She is so passionate. She is so well informed. And then my other friend, Alyssa Barber, does a great job with very punchy, very engaging little activism things. Her content is so well done. Just to name a few, there are plenty of more activists out there that I admire and I follow, and you can check out my full list of people that I follow and I think you should follow on my website. And those are kind of some of my inspiration for making content moving forward, getting involved and spreading the word. And I hope that other creators see that, use them for inspiration as well. And again, I'm not asking any of these creators to totally give up their current strategies, their current content strategies, and their current whatever they're filming. I hope that they do share a little bit more about policy, about petitions to sign, letters to write, and so forth, because I think that is what the movement is going to need in the next 4 years. To be clear, I was going to make similar videos even if Kamala Harris got elected, because again, she was not going to save the planet. I think my goal and plenty of other people's goal for voting for her was get her in office and then kind of bully her into getting to work. We tried to do that with Biden, but didn't work. I guess it kind of did. He dropped out of the race. We're kind of bullying him a little too hard. I just wanted to make this short little video to say what I'm going to be doing with my own platforms moving forward, what I would really encourage other environmental creators to partake in as well, and just where I see the environmental movement going forward? Honestly, it's hard to say, like, past these 4 years, because even just the last 4 years have changed so much for the movement, but it could very well be that will never again be a movement of the reusable water bottle. Turn off the lights when you leave a room. I'm still going to say those things, of course, but broadly speaking, I don't think that's going to draw people into the movement anymore. I don't think that should be our main focus. It should be a focus. I never want to diminish individual action. It still has its place. It's still important. But yeah, I really don't see this as a movement of individual action anymore. Mainly. Keep doing your individual action, please. Because guess what? Signing a petition is an individual action. If we all sign a petition, it matters. Just like if we all quit driving a car, if we had access to, and we all quit taking and we all started taking public transportation, that's huge. Like if every single person did that. That's kind of my perspective for individual action. But I think especially as more Gen Z becomes adults, more Gen Z become voters, more Gen Z become involved, I'm excited for Gen Z to keep growing up. I'm elder Gen Z. I'm talking to them like they're some sort of children. I'm technically Gen Z. The young folk are giving me hope. The older folk are giving me hope. It really does brighten my day when I see older folk who, no offense, it's just a fact, that are probably not going to be around to see the most brutal effects of climate change. They are already past their childbearing years, and therefore this new administration does not affect their own body, etc., etc. It really brings me so much inspiration to see these older people fighting for the rights of younger people, because they've been here. They have been fighting this same fight for the climate, bodily autonomy for 50 plus years. They have been here before, and it is so inspiring to see them not give up and continue to stay in the ranks with us. We have come a long way since the broad environmental movement started in the early 1970s. We might take a couple steps back, but we will keep going. We will keep making change. We will keep celebrating the small wins. I think this really will be a turning point for the environmental movement, and I'm interested to see where it takes us. I have hope that it will be good. And if you also are feeling a little bit of despair right now and you want a little bit of hope, again, check out that video that I just posted on Sunday. I don't post on Mondays. I've been telling everybody it posts on Monday. Goes live Sunday. And you can check out my past resources for activism from home, activism from beginner to advanced, how to write to your local elected officials, what sort of letters to write, how to find your elected officials. They are all a bit old during my first kind of kick in the environmental activism space 3 years ago or so. If you want me to remake these videos, if you have any more activism topics that you want me to talk about here on YouTube, let me know. Please follow me on Instagram, where I will be sharing real-time news updates, legislation that has been passed, petitions to sign, letters to write, elections that are coming up. That's where I'm going to be broadly focusing my own activism, just because YouTube does take a lot more scripting, planning, editing. It's a little harder to do in real time. Like even this video, I still have to film and edit it, and it's not going to go live for a couple days. Follow me on Instagram for live updates. Let me know what you want to see here on YouTube when it comes to activism and the future of environmentalism. This is not the step we were hoping to take, but it is the step we are being forced to take. We must take it in stride. We must keep moving forward and work with what we've got. We've been here before. We know what to do. Earth Justice is keeping me hopeful when it comes to like legislation and legal stuff. We have the resources. They already exist. Join existing groups. Listen to people of color. They have been here before. They have already been organizing this sort of work for years. And if you are a fellow creator watching this, I hope that you do your part to encourage environmental activism moving forward. Again, even just something as simple as sharing petitions to your stories. That does matter. I'll see you in the next video. I'm feeling a little bit more hopeful after this. I hope that you are too. We'll get back next week to regularly scheduled programming with the gift guide. It's already filmed and edited. It's my annual gift guide. I don't want to take it down. And you know, we need a little Christmas joy in our lives. Enjoy the Christmas content as it comes. Happy holidays. Happy post-election. You know, at least we got it over with. We ripped the bandage off and it's gushing. Keep it hopeful. Keep it hopeful. I'll spit in there for a moment though. That was kind of wise. I will see you in the next video though. Thank you so much for supporting all of my content, whether it is sexy topics, unsexy topics, clickbait, not clickbait, serious, sad, hopeful, inspiring. Thank you for watching it all. Thank you for sticking with me and supporting me. I hope that you stick with me, and I hope that you feel inspired, get inspired, and you're ready to take some action. I'll see you in the next video, but until then, remember that your small actions truly do make a big difference in the long run. Bye guys.